Leora woke to sunlight streaming through floor-to-ceiling windows and the familiar weight of Dante's arm across her waist. Cale was already up. She could hear him in the kitchen, probably making that elaborate breakfast he insisted on every Sunday. 2 years since the ceremony. 2 years of learning how to be 3 people instead of 1. Most days it felt natural, easy even. Today felt different. She'd been having the dreams again. Flashes of a woman's face she didn't recognize, dark hair, sharp eyes, a voice that whispered in a language Leora almost understood but couldn't quite grasp. She'd wake up with her heart racing and the bond thrumming with something that felt like warning. She hadn't told Cale or Dante yet, partially because she didn't want to worry them, but mostly because she didn't know what the dreams meant. The bond had been stable for years. Perfect, even. Why would it suddenly start showing her things? Dante stirred beside her, his eyes opening slowly. He always looked softer in the morning, before the day's armor settled over him. "You're thinking too loud," he murmured, pulling her closer. "Sorry," Leora said, trying to relax into him. "Don't be sorry, just tell me what's wrong." She knew she should. But Cale appeared in the doorway with coffee, smiling that easy smile, and the moment passed. "Breakfast in 10, he said. "And we need to talk about the Singapore expansion. The board wants your input, Leora." Work, safe territory. She let herself slip into the familiar rhythm of their morning routine, pushing the dreams to the back of her mind. But they didn't stay there. 3 days later, Leora was in a meeting when it happened. She was presenting the new marketing strategy for their Southeast Asian division, mid-sentence when the room tilted. Not physically, something else. The bond surged, hot and violent, and suddenly she wasn't in the conference room anymore. She was standing in a hallway, sterile, white, hospital-like but not quite. A woman was walking toward her. The woman from her dreams, dark hair pulled back severely, eyes that held recognition. "You shouldn't be here," the woman said. "The bond isn't meant to reach this far." "Who are you?" Leora tried to ask, but no sound came out. "I'm what happens when it goes wrong," the woman said. "I'm Hana." Then Leora was back, in the conference room, everyone staring at her. She, stopped mid-word, had been standing there silent for who knows how long. "Are you all right?" one of the executives asked. "Fine," Leora managed. "Just need a moment." She made it to the bathroom before her hands started shaking. Hana, the carrier who'd broken, the one they'd kept secret until that woman in the cafe had told her. Leora had never questioned it after Cale and Dante explained, never thought to ask more. Now Hana was in her head, in the bond. That wasn't supposed to be possible. She called Dante. He answered on the first ring, always did when she used their private line. "What's wrong?" "I need you to tell me everything about Hana," Leora said. "And I mean everything, not the sanitized version, the truth." Silence on the other end. Then, "Where are you?" "Office, 10th floor bathroom." "Stay there." He arrived in 15 minutes, which meant he'd broken every traffic law getting there. Cale was with him. They'd clearly been together when she called. Both of them looked worried in a way that made Leora's stomach clench. "What happened?" Cale asked. Leora told them. The dreams, the vision during the meeting, Hana's face, her words. The color drained from Cale's face. Dante went very still in that way he did when processing something dangerous. "That's not possible," Cale said finally. "The bond with Hana was severed years ago. There's no connection left." "Then explain what I just experienced," Leora said. Dante and Cale exchanged one of their silent conversations. Then Dante spoke. "There's something we didn't tell you about Hana, not because we wanted to hide it, but because we didn't think it was relevant." "I'm listening," Leora said. "Hana didn't just break from the bond," Cale said quietly. "She tried to take it over, to control it. She was convinced that if she could master the connection, she could use it to control us, our company, our resources, everything." "The bond drove her to it," Dante added. "Or maybe she was always that way and the bond amplified it. We never figured out which. But by the time we realized what was happening, she'd gone too deep. She was trying to force a permanent connection, make herself irreplaceable." "What stopped her?" Leora asked. "We did," Dante said. "We had to sever it forcefully. It almost killed all 3 of us. That's why she's in the facility. The severance destroyed something in her mind. She's been stable for 2 years, but she's not the same person. Leora processed this. And you think she's somehow reaching out through the bond, to me. I think she never fully let go, Kale said. I think part of her is still connected, maybe to us, maybe to the bond itself. And now that you're fully bonded with us, she can sense you. Can she hurt me? Leora asked. Neither of them answered right away. That told her everything. We need to go see her, Leora said. Now. Absolutely not, Dante said. It wasn't a question, Leora replied. If she's in my head, I need to know why. I need to understand what she knows. And I'm not going to sit here waiting for her to show me something worse. Kale looked at Dante. Something passed between them. Finally, Dante nodded. We go together, all 3 of us, and if anything feels wrong, we leave immediately. The facility was in Busan, 3 hours by car. They left that afternoon. Leora sat in the back with Kale while Dante drove, the bond between them tense and crackling. Neither brother had wanted to do this, but they understood why they had to. What was she like? Leora asked, before everything went wrong. Kale was quiet for a moment. Determined, brilliant. She had this way of seeing connections others missed. She worked in finance before we found her. I think she saw us as a puzzle to solve. Did you love her? The question came out before Leora could stop it. No, Dante said from the front seat. We cared about her. We were grateful, but it was never what we have with you. It always felt transactional with Hana, like she was waiting for something. She was, Kale said. She was waiting to figure out how to take control. The facility was beautiful in that unsettling way expensive mental health institutions are. Gardens, art, everything designed to look like wellness while hiding the locked doors and security cameras. They were expected. Kale had called ahead, and a doctor met them at the entrance. She's been asking about you, the doctor said to the brothers. For months now, we thought it was residual fixation from the bond, but 3 days ago. She started talking about a woman, dark blonde hair, British. She described you perfectly, Ms. Leora. How is that possible? Kale asked. The doctor shook his head. We don't fully understand the bond. It's not something conventional medicine can explain, but I think part of her consciousness never fully detached. And now that there's another carrier in the bond, it's creating a bridge. Can you stop it? Leora asked. I don't know, the doctor said honestly. But Hana might. She's been studying the bond obsessively, reading everything she can find about genetic memory, collective consciousness, quantum entanglement. She's brilliant even now, maybe especially now. He led them through corridors that felt too quiet, too clean. Finally, they reached a room with large windows overlooking the garden. Hana was sitting by the window, reading. She looked up when they entered, and her eyes went straight to Leora. There you are, Hana said. I've been waiting. She looked different from the visions. Older, worn, but her eyes were sharp, focused in a way that made Leora's skin prickle. Why are you in my head? Leora asked, not bothering with pleasantries. Hana smiled. Because you're in mine. That's how it works when there are 2 carriers connected to the same source. We're mirrors now, reflections. That's not how it's supposed to work, Kale said. Nothing about this is supposed to work, Hana replied. The bond isn't natural. It's not meant to exist in modern humans, but here we are, 3 aberrations in a room. 4, Dante corrected. Leora isn't an aberration. Isn't she? Hana stood, walked closer. The doctor tensed but didn't intervene. She's bound to 2 men who should have died years ago. She's changing at a cellular level. She dreams in languages she's never learned. She can sense things she shouldn't be able to sense. Tell me that's normal. It's the bond, Leora said. Side effects temporary. Is it? Hana asked. Or is it activation? Maybe the bond doesn't just stabilize them. Maybe it wakes something up in us. Why are you telling me this? Leora asked. Because you need to know what's coming, Hana said. The bond doesn't stay stable forever. It evolves, changes, demands more. Right now, you're in the honeymoon phase. Everything feels perfect. But eventually, it'll want something else. Like what? Leora pressed. Children, Hana said simply. The bond wants to reproduce, to create more carriers, more people with the genetic markers. And when it decides it's time, you won't have a choice. Your body will demand it. Their bodies will demand it. You'll all feel it like starvation. Leora's blood went cold. That's not true. Ask them, Hannah said, gesturing to the brothers. Ask them if they've been feeling it. The pull, the need. It starts subtle, dreams, phantom sensations. Then it gets stronger. Leora turned to Kale and Dante. Their faces said everything. You knew, Leora whispered. We suspected, Kale said carefully, but we didn't want to worry you until we were sure. How long? Leora demanded. 3 months, Dante said. Maybe 4. It started around the same time you started having the dreams. Leora felt betrayed. Again, after everything, they were still keeping secrets. What else haven't you told me? Nothing, Kale said. I swear this is it. Don't lie to her, Hannah said. Tell her about the choice. Leora looked at Hannah, then back at the brothers. What choice? Dante's jaw clenched. If you carry a child, the bond becomes permanent in a different way, unbreakable. You won't just be connected to us. You'll be connected to the child. 3 points become 4. The bond structure changes. And if I do? Leora asked. The bond will destabilize, Kale said quietly. Not immediately, but over time. Maybe a year, maybe 5. Eventually, it'll start hurting us again, all of us. So my choices are have a child or watch us all suffer, Leora said. Or leave now, Hannah said. Before the bond demands it, while you still can. It'll hurt, but you'll survive, they'll survive. You'll all live separate lives. Why are you telling me this? Leora asked Hannah. What do you gain? Nothing, Hannah said. I already lost everything. But I don't want to see another woman go through what I went through. I tried to fight it, tried to control it. It destroyed me. You're smarter than I was, so I'm giving you what no one gave me. Information, choice, the truth. Leora turned and walked out of the room. She needed air, space. The bond was thrumming with emotion, Kale's guilt, Dante's fear, her own anger and confusion. She made it to the garden before Kale caught up with her. Leora, wait. Don't, she said. Don't try to fix this right now. I'm not trying to fix it, Kale said. I just want you to know that whatever you decide, we'll support it. If you want to leave, we'll help you. If you want to stay, we'll figure it out together. And if you want time to think, we'll give you that too. I don't want time, Leora said. I want honesty. I want to stop feeling like there's always another secret around the corner. There isn't, Kale said. This is it. This is everything. The bond, the evolution, the choice, it's all on the table now. Dante appeared beside them. He didn't say anything, just stood there being solid and present the way he did. Leora looked at both of them, these men who'd become her entire world, who she'd chosen. Who chosen her back? I need to talk to Hannah alone, she said. No, Dante said immediately. Yes, Leora countered. She's the only one who's been through this, who knows what it's actually like. I need to hear it from her, not filtered through your guilt or fear. The brothers exchanged a look. Finally, Kale nodded. 10 minutes, we'll be right outside. Leora went back into the room. Hannah was still by the window, but she'd sat down again. She looked tired suddenly. Fragile. You came back, Hannah said. I need to know what happened to you, Leora said. The real story, not the version they tell. Hannah was quiet for a long moment. I thought I could control it, the bond. I thought if I understood it well enough, studied it hard enough, I could make it work for me instead of the other way around. I started manipulating them. Small things at first, then bigger. I convinced myself I was doing it for survival, for protection. But really, I was terrified of being powerless. What changed? Leora asked. The bond fought back, Hannah said. It didn't want to be controlled. It wanted to be accepted. And when I kept pushing, kept trying to dominate it, it started breaking me down. I'd lose hours, days. I'd wake up not knowing where I was. They tried to help, but by then I'd done too much damage. The severance was mercy. Do you regret it? Leora asked. The whole thing. Every day, Hannah said. But not because of what happened to me, because I could have had what you have. I could have been part of something real, but I was too afraid to trust it, so I destroyed it. I don't know what to do, Leora admitted. Yes, you do, Hannah said. You're just afraid to admit it. You already know what you want. The question is whether you're brave enough to choose it. Leora sat down across from Hannah. Tell me what it's like, the pull, the need the bond creates. It's like hunger, Hannah said, but deeper. Not physical exactly, though your body feels it. It's more like your cells are screaming that something's missing, that you're incomplete, and the only thing that makes it stop is giving in. Did you feel it? Leora asked, before everything went wrong. Yes, Hannah said. That's part of why I panicked. I felt my body making decisions without consulting me. I felt myself wanting things I hadn't chosen to want. It terrified me. But what if I want it? Leora asked quietly. What if the bond isn't making me feel something foreign? What if it's just amplifying what's already there? Hannah smiled sadly. Then you're luckier than I was. I never wanted it, the bond or them. I just wanted to survive. But you love them, really love them. That's the difference. Leora realized she was crying. I'm scared. Good, Hannah said. Fear means you're taking it seriously, but don't let fear make your choices. I did that. Look where it got me. Thank you, Leora said, for telling me the truth. Don't thank me yet, Hannah said. You still have to make the choice. Leora found Kale and Dante in the waiting area. They stood immediately when they saw her, the bond pulling them together like magnets. Take me home, Leora said. The drive back to Seoul was quiet. Leora sat between them this time, Dante driving more carefully than usual, Kale's hand in hers. The bond hummed between them, uncertain but present. When they got back to the penthouse, Leora went straight to the bedroom they all shared now. She moved in months ago, natural as breathing. The room felt like safety, like home. The brothers followed her, gave her space but stayed close, waiting. I need to say something, Leora started, and I need you to let me finish before you respond. They both nodded. When I signed that contract 4 years ago, I thought I was selling myself, trading my freedom for my mother. And for a long time, that's what it felt like. A transaction, a debt. But somewhere along the way, it stopped being that. It became a choice, my choice. And I chose you, both of you, not because the bond made me, because I wanted to. She paused, gathering her thoughts. Hannah was right. The bond is amplifying something, making me feel things stronger. But it's not creating feelings that weren't there. I wanted this life before the bond demanded it. I wanted a family with you before my biology started screaming for it. And yes, I'm terrified. Yes, I hate that there are always more secrets, more complications, but I'm more terrified of losing this, of losing us. Kale's eyes were bright with unshed tears. Dante's jaw was tight with emotion. I don't know if I'm ready for a child, Leora continued. I don't know if I'll ever be ready, but I know I'm not ready to leave. I'm not ready to let the bond destabilize. I'm not ready to live without you. So if the choice is between evolution and dissolution, I choose evolution. I choose us. I choose forward. Are you sure? Kale asked, his voice rough. No, Leora said honestly, but I'm sure about you, about this. That's enough. Dante crossed the room in 2 strides and pulled her into his arms. Kale wrapped around both of them. The bond exploded between them, warm and right and perfect. Relief and love and gratitude flooding through all 3. We'll do it right, Kale said into her hair. We'll take our time, make sure you're ready, make sure everything is safe. And if you change your mind, Dante added, we figure out another way, no matter what. I know, Leora said, and she did. She trusted them, finally, completely. That night they talked for hours, about logistics, about fears, about what kind of parents they wanted to be. Kale wanted structure and education. Dante wanted freedom and space to grow. Leora wanted love, overwhelming, unconditional love. We're going to be terrible at this, Leora said with a laugh. Probably, Kale agreed. Definitely, Dante added. But we'll be terrible together, Leora said. That's what matters. 3 months later, Leora stood in the bathroom staring at a positive pregnancy test. She'd known before taking it. The bond had been singing for days, different and fuller, but seeing it confirmed made it real. She walked into the living room where Kale was working and Dante was cooking. They both looked up immediately, sensing the change in her. She held up the test. Kale's laptop clattered to the floor. Dante dropped the spatula. Then they were both there, hands on her stomach, foreheads pressed to hers, the bond blazing between them like sunlight. Are you okay? Kale asked. Terrified, Leora admitted. But happy, is that weird? No, Dante said. That's perfect. The pregnancy was different than either of them expected. The bond stabilized in new ways, creating a fourth point of connection even before the baby was born. Leora could feel it sometimes, this tiny consciousness that was part her, part them, part something entirely new. She had cravings that made no sense, Korean food she'd never tried, books in languages she couldn't read, music that made the baby move in specific ways. Kale documented everything obsessively. Dante became impossibly protective, barely letting her out of his sight. I'm pregnant, not made of glass, Leora said, after Dante tried to carry her up the stairs for the third time that week. I know, Dante said, but the bond is screaming at me to protect you. Both of you, all of you, it's louder than logic. She softened. I'm okay, we're okay, I promise. 6 months in, complications started. Nothing life-threatening, but enough to worry the doctors. The baby's genetics were unusual, expected, given the circumstances, but still concerning. They needed to monitor closely. Leora ended up on bed rest for the final trimester. She hated it, hated feeling useless. But Kale and Dante transformed the bedroom into a command center, brought her work, kept her company, made sure she never felt alone. One night, 7 months in, Leora woke to pain, sharp and wrong. She gasped, clutching her stomach, and both brothers were awake immediately. Hospital, Dante said. Now. The drive was a blur, pain and fear and the bond thrashing between them. By the time they arrived, Leora's water had broken. 2 months early. Too early. The delivery was chaos, machines beeping, doctors shouting instructions. Kale holding one hand, Dante the other, both of them pouring everything they had through the bond. Strength, love, life. And then crying. Tiny and furious, a baby's cry. It's a girl, someone said. They put her on Leora's chest, impossibly small, dark hair, eyes that would probably be Dante's black or Kale's gray, too early to tell, but alive, breathing, perfect. The bond shifted, clicked into place. 4 points instead of 3, a square instead of a triangle, more stable, more permanent, more everything. She's beautiful, Kale whispered. She's ours, Dante said, wonder in his voice. She's mine, Leora said fiercely, then softer, ours. They named her Selene, after the moon goddess, because she'd been born at night and because she'd brought light to something that had started in darkness. The first few months were brutal. Selene was tiny, needed constant care, but the bond helped. They could sense what she needed sometimes before she cried, could take turns sleeping because they felt each other's exhaustion, could parent as one unit instead of 3 separate people. Leora's mother visited when Selene was 3 months old. She cried when she held her granddaughter. I never thought I'd see this, she said. You happy, really happy, after everything. After everything, Leora agreed. Maybe because of everything. Her mother looked at Kale and Dante, who were watching from across the room. Take care of her, she said. Both of you, she saved me. Make sure someone saves her when she needs it. Every day, Kale promised. Without question, Dante added. When Selene was 6 months old, they got a letter. From Busan, from the facility. Hannah had died, peacefully in her sleep, but she'd left something for Leora, a journal, pages and pages of notes about the bond, research, theories, and on the last page, a single sentence in neat handwriting. You were brave enough, I'm glad. Leora cried reading it, cried for the woman who'd almost destroyed them but ultimately helped save them, cried for the path not taken, cried in gratitude and grief. She gave us this, Leora said to Kale and Dante that night. By warning us, by showing us what could go wrong, she gave us the chance to do it right. We should do something for her, Kale said. A memorial something. They created a scholarship fund for women in financial crisis, named it after Hannah. It felt right, turning her tragedy into someone else's hope. Selene grew, fast and bright and perfect. She had Leora's curiosity, Kale's charm, Dante's intensity. By the time she was 2, she was speaking 3 languages and making all 3 of her parents exhausted. We made a genius, Leora said one night, watching Selene solve a puzzle meant for 5-year-olds. We made trouble, Dante corrected, but he was smiling. We made family, Cale said, and that was closest to the truth. On Seleni's third birthday, they took her to the Han River. The same view Leora had seen from the penthouse that first day. But now she was on the ground, watching her daughter chase birds, flanked by two men who'd gone from strangers to soulmates. Do you ever regret it? Cale asked quietly. Signing the contract, everything that came after. Leora thought about it, really thought, about the fear and anger, the betrayal and secrets, the pain and uncertainty. Then she looked at Selene, at Dante teaching her to skip stones, at Cale laughing at something their daughter said. Not even once, Leora said, not even for a second. Because the truth was, she'd signed that contract thinking she was trading her freedom for her mother's life. But what she'd actually done was trade one life for another, a smaller life for something vast. She'd found love in a place that should have been prison, found family in what should have been transaction, found herself in the last place she thought to look. The bond hummed between them, 4 points, stable, permanent, perfect. And Leora realized something she should have known all along. Sometimes the best deals are the ones that look like mistakes. Sometimes you have to lose yourself to find yourself. Sometimes 3 becomes 4, and that's not division. It's multiplication. Years later, when Selene was 10 and asking questions about how her family worked, Leora would tell her the truth, all of it, the contract, the bond, the choice. So you were forced, Selene would ask, concern in her young voice. At first, Leora would admit, but then I chose. Every day after that first year I chose. That's what love is, sweetheart, not the lightning bolt, the choice, the daily decision to stay, to build, to grow. Do you think I'll have the bond too? Selene would ask, since I'm part of it. Maybe, Leora would say, or maybe you'll have something different, something uniquely yours. Either way, you'll have choice. That's what I want for you, not a perfect life, but the freedom to choose your own imperfect one. Selene would hug her then. I'd choose this, she'd say. If I could choose any family, I'd choose us. And Leora's heart would break and heal in the same moment, the way only a parent's can. But that was years away. For now, Selene was 3, chasing birds by the Han River, laughing in 3 languages, loved by 3 parents who'd found each other in the darkest way and built something bright. Cale took Leora's hand. Dante stood on her other side. Selene ran back to them, demanding to be lifted, and all 3 obliged, hoisting her up between them, their daughter, their miracle, their choice. The bond sang, 4 notes in perfect harmony. And Leora understood, finally, what Hannah had been trying to tell her. The bond doesn't trap you. Fear does. The bond doesn't control you. Resistance does. The bond doesn't take your choice. It gives you one you never knew existed. To be more than yourself. To be part of something bigger. To be loved so completely that biology itself reshapes to accommodate it. That's not a price. That's a gift. And Leora had finally learned to accept it. The sun set over Seoul. The Han River turned gold, and 4 souls, bound by choice and chance and chemistry, walked home together. Not perfect, but theirs. And that was everything.